Hi guys, my name is Nora V. I'm a fashion designer and also a tailor. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a flounce. Yay! So now let's get into it. What is a flounce? A flounce is a type of flare used to design a cloth. A flounce must go like a flare. You must cut it in a circular form and not horizontal. So a simple definition of a flounce would be any part of your cloth you use to gather a design is a flare or a flounce. And the most important thing for flounce is the flowy feature, which includes the placement and the movement. So we have two types of flounce. One is the spiral method and the multiple flare method. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to achieve the spiral 6 method. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. So in order to do your spiral 6 methods, you're going to be needing some of this material. Please, I do not want you to be on pressure. You can use as many as you want because some of these materials here are very much optional, but I'm just going to be showing you what I would be using today. So I'm going to be using this charcoal pencil. I actually love this charcoal pencil for sketching and drawing. It's very detailed, and trust me when I say it's the absolute best for your drawings. You're going to need a mat set. The reason I say you're going to need a mat set is because I find mat set very useful for detailed drawings. It has an eraser. Sorry, I actually lost my eraser. So basically, you're going to need a mat set. You're going to need a paper scissors. If you don't have a scissors, that's fine. You can use a rotary cutter. You're going to need a tape, a marker, and a French curve ruler or the ruler that comes in your mat set. So the benefit of me showing you these items is to let you know that a lot of these items are optional. So it's either you can use your paper scissors or you use your rotary cutter. So for today, we're going to be sticking with our paper scissors. So I'm going to keep this aside. It's either you use your marker or your pencil. When drafting any type of pattern, I strongly recommend you use a pencil. And after your pencil, you can use your marker to outline it properly so it's more visible. So we're going to be sticking with our charcoal pencil. So in order to get a circle, you might need a protractor. This is optional, but this is when maybe you really want details or you want to really get the circumference accurately, then I would strongly recommend you go for this, and which is why you need a mat set, or you can just get a protractor like separately. So we're going to be sticking with our French curve ruler because of the diagonal shape. Our tape. So now let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back. So we are about to dive into making our spiral 6 method flounce. So you're gonna need a paper. You can get any paper you like, honestly. So the purpose of using this paper is to show you guys exactly how to do this method accurately. We do not want to be wasting fabrics. So it's important you learn how to get this method accurately on your pattern paper before you go ahead to cut your fabric. So you don't make mistakes on your fabric and you know how that would end. So this is our pattern paper. So the first thing you want to do is fold your pattern paper equally together. Please Make sure you do this patiently. Just take your time to fold it equally because it's important we get the center line. So please do not be in a haste. Take your time. You can see me taking my time, making sure it's equal. Fold it equally, and then you spread. So it's meant to look like this. So it's meant to look like this, equally. And the next step is to fold it again. So you're folding it into 4 places. I already showed you the first step. You fold. Exactly what it should look like. So it should look like this. That is exactly what it should look like. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be reducing my pattern paper so that you can see my work more efficiently because the pattern paper is very massive. So I'm just going to reduce it off camera, then come back. So we have successfully reduced our pattern paper so that you guys can see more clearly. And now all I'm doing right now is to smoothing the edges. The importance of smoothing the edges is to get the line marks in the center. So your pattern paper should look like this. This is how it should look like. So now we've gotten our marks. So the next thing we're going to do is to outline those marks. And like I said, always use a pencil. In case you make a mistake, you can easily erase it and start over. Your marker should only come after you're done with your pencil in case you want to see it more clearly. So today we're going to be working with a pencil and a marker. But first, let's outline. So this is exactly what your pattern paper should look like. Now you can see the importance of folding into 4 equal parts. You can see how clean and effortless our line is looking. So let's talk about the phase 2 of making this Para 6 method flounce. So in order to get your pinpoint, there's something I call the compass method. So what is the compass method? The compass method is like a guideline to help you navigate around the pattern, your pattern paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to label these lines just like a compass. So we're going to call this north. We're going to call this south, just like your compass. We're going to call this west and east. You can see. So the purpose of using this compass method is just to help you navigate, to help you remember your starting point and how to go around your pattern paper. And then the next thing you want to do is to get your radius. So how do you get your radius? You need to note that the smaller the radius, the more gathers you get on your flounce. The bigger your radius, the less gathers you get. So it depends on what you're trying to create. It depends on your design. It depends on what you are looking out for. But know this, the lesser your radius, the bigger the gather, the bigger the radius. So you already know how that goes. So for today, I'm going to be working with 2 inches for so we're going to be starting our pinpoint from north. So always remember, start from north. So we're going to be marking 2 inch. This is 2 inch. And next we're going to west to mark 2 inches. And then we're going to south to mark 2 inches. In order to get a very good circle, I would advise you get as much pinpoints as possible so you don't make mistakes. You can see what I'm doing. Take your time. You can see that. So you can see how we have pinpointed, and obviously it's looking like a semicircle. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get our semicircle from our mat set. Just because I want a smooth line. You can see that. So I started from north and I went south. You can see that. So I'm going to continue to east. Remember, our measurement is 2 inches. Now you can see that. So the next thing you want to do is to get the length of your flounce. So remember, it depends on how long you want your flounce to look or how short, depending on what you're trying to create or the design you're aiming for. So in order to get the length of your flounce, you're going to pinpoint the length on north. You can see that. So today we're going to be working with 3 inches for our length, and I'm going to place it here on the same line with north, and then I'm going to mark out 3 inches. You can see that. So the next thing you want to do is to connect east to north. It's quite simple. So I'm going to be using my French curve ruler to do that. And you can see this is optional if you want to connect it. You can see it looks like a 6, and this is why we call it the spiral 6 method. So in order to continue getting the length of your flounce, you continue from north and you mark 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, So now we're going to connect from north to west to south, then to east. So please, if you're a beginner, I would strongly recommend you use a pencil in case you make mistakes, so you don't have to start all over again, please. So we're going to do the same thing all over till we have enough for our flounce. So you can go as much as you want. It depends on, like I said, what you're creating, the look you're going for. It all depends on your design. So stay tuned while we just continue. Another thing to note is when joining your lines together, you can move your pattern. You can move it in circular motion. This helps your hand movement in connecting the dots. I'm about to show you how to do that. So we're going to be marking out 3 inches as usual. So if I want to connect this dot, I'm not going to stay in a very uncomfortable position to do that because my hands are not going to be straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my pattern paper so that I can get easy hand flow. Let's see. See? Patience is the key. You can see. So we're going to continue like that till we go around the whole pattern paper. It's very important to be patient with yourself when joining the points together. Like I said, you can move your pattern paper for easy hand movement, just like I'm doing. And then make sure you're measuring the length of your flare. You can make the pinpoints closer so that it's easier for you when joining them together, just like I'm doing. Now see how patient I am. And like I said, if you are a beginner, please use a pencil in case you make a mistake, because if you make a mistake with a marker, so I am about to connect the last piece for the length of my flare. So this is how I connect it. And then what I'm going to do is get my ruler and just draw a straight line. The purpose of this straight line is a guideline on how you're going to cut your flounce. The line is optional. It just depends on you, but I would say for for detailed cutting and for you to see what you're doing, I would really say stick to drawing a straight line. So, voila. We have our flounce, and you can see it looks like 6. This is why it's called a spiral 6 method. Look at that. Look at how beautiful it's looking. Please be patient with yourself. Like I said, do not do this hurriedly. Do not do this because you're tired. Just make sure you pick a very good day where you have time to do this. And the next phase is we're going to be cutting out our flounce. Hi guys, so I'm back again. Now we want to cut out our flounce, and like I said, I already kept a guideline here. So we're going to be using a paper, scissors, and what I'm going to do is just turn this and start from our guideline. Sorry, I have to take my camera back a bit and start from our guideline. See that? And make sure you cut slowly. Please do not be in a haste to cut, or else you're going to make mistake and destroy all the work you've done. Take your time. Patience is very key in doing this. Whatever pattern you're drafting, be it a pencil sketch, whatever, be it a flounce, always be patient, especially with yourself. And that's why I would always recommend to do this when you're less stressed and when you have time. So let's get into it. So you're following the line. And make sure you shift it while you cut. I'm laying my hands here to support the paper, so I don't cut where I'm not supposed to cut. You can see what I'm doing. Move in a circular motion. When drafting or cutting or making any type of flounce, always move in a circular motion. You can't move in a vertical or horizontal motion. It's not even possible. This is all about circles, circumference, radius, all that. Please move in a circular motion. Let's keep this here so we can see what we're doing. So this is a simple method I do. I keep my glass cup in the middle of my pattern paper, and then I just cut around it. So whatever method works for you, you can decide to put a glass cup, or you can decide to hold it down like this and cut. Whatever works for you. But I find that this method is easier for circular movement. So we're coming to the end of cutting out our flounce. So I want you guys to watch here closely. So look at what I'm doing. I'm cutting straight from north. I'm cutting straight from north to west. See that? And I'm going back to west. You can see our 6 is coming out. I said move in circular motion. Wow. Look at our 6. Look at that. So remember, you're starting from north and you would end in north. So guys, let's look at what our flounce is looking like. Hi guys, so this is our flounce. You can see, look at how gorgeous it's looking. Look at that. So you can pleat this however you want. Depending on your preference, you can decide to pleat. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. You can pleat it if you want, depending, but this is what our flounce is looking like. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching my tutorial. My name is Nora V, and if you have any questions, please ask me in the comment section and I'll be right here to answer you. So I hope you're going to try this method on your flounce and I hope you enjoy making them. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you guys again. Bye.